Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Rebecca Hartline from Massillon Christian School. We were talking about parents choosing Christian school because of the way you might approach certain subject areas. And let's lay it out there. Science. How do you teach science at a Christian school?
We do teach the evolutions because they need to understand what is being taught. When they take their science tests, by the state, they're going to have to know it. But that they can understand where Christianity stands in that as you compare back and forth. And so that they can also combat it, when they're hit with it in class. What can they do with that when they're in college?
You have some good materials, I'm guessing, to teach creation, creation science. There's some really good science-backed materials now. What do you use?
Most of our material, especially in the high school, comes from Becca, which is Pensacola Christian College, and their reproduction, their books and stuff. We do use some Bob Jones University textbooks also, but mostly it's Becca. And they have very, they're very advanced textbooks. They learn a lot. I mean, it's good stuff. We offer to the seniors, if they're going into a medical field, they can take anatomy and physiology. If they are 18 and their parents assign, we actually take them to an autopsy. They do some of the stuff like criminal investigation because I have some of our graduates that are in those fields, and so they welcome them to come.
Let's talk about your graduates. It seems like they've been very successful in college and in life. You want to brag on a few of them?
Yeah, well, actually, our alumni are coming on Thursday to our volleyball and our soccer practices to help out. And I just saw one earlier last week. She came in and I was touching base with her and telling her, I'm praying for you every morning. Are you read up and prayed up? And she said, yes, I am. I said, well, good, I am also. And she has completed a full ride scholarship to Kentucky Christian.
Oh, great school.
And she played basketball for them. And she's in the medical field studying to be a doctor. Wow. So she's now past that stage, and she's going to be starting her clinicals, and she said she's doing really well. She's doing us proud.
You are very, very
Jana
well.
Glick is her name. A lot of people know her.
And do some of these folks come back and talk to your students, your current students, and inspire them?
Most recent one we've had is a man who flies in the military, and he's made a career of that, and he's come back and talked to our students and, inspired them to, if the Lord leads them to go into the military, but they need to be standing strong as Christians. And, telling about that field and stuff. But yes, we have them come back. They come back and preach for us. They come back and do devotions sometimes because the students have a Bible study at lunchtime on Tuesdays that they organize it. And so sometimes the alumni will come back and, bring a treat for them and then talk a little bit about it. And they like that.
Do they come back and help with tuition for the next generation?
Yeah. Neat story about one young man that I came across just accidentally. We were at a store, and he said, I'd like to help out. And so he was paying half of a tuition for the student. And so each month, a $150 check would come in from him. And then that's been about 4 or 5 years now he's done that. And then 2 years ago, instead of the $150 check, we got a $1,500 check. And I thought, well, maybe he's just deciding he's going to pay the whole year at one time. But then the next month, I got another $1,500 check, and I thought, I better call him. Maybe his bank goofed. Mm-hmm. And so I called him, and he said, oh, no, Mrs. Hartline. He said, I have some extra funds in an account, and we're going to keep doing that. So this is the third year. I just got another one. He's starting this year, and that really helps out.
What a testimony, though, as far as the education that he received and how important he believes that is to be able to help the next generation along. And I think you said before that when he was a student, he was a handful.
Yeah, and that's one of the things he says. He said, I was so ornery. He said, but the things that you guys had me learn, and the memory verses that I didn't want to learn, but I did because I had to. He said, they never left me. And he said, so, he's in his 40s now, and here he is. He's remembering. He's remembering.
That never goes away, does it?
No.
That's in there. It's planted, and you see the fruit of it. What kind of an alumni program do you have? I would imagine reunions are fairly easy if you only have 5 people in your class. Not too hard to catch up. What kind of an alumni program do you have? Anything formal for them?
Actually, my sister who graduated from the school, she's head of it, so she sends out a thing, and they have get-togethers. The classes do their individual ones, but then every so many 4 or 5 years, they have a huge get-together so everybody can come in that wants to come in, and so that's a neat time. And of course, in the past, when Christian schools were, that movement was really big, we had 15, 20, 25 kids in a class. So, we have some bigger classes in the past.
But you said earlier, and I want to circle back to this, that you find around 7th or 8th grade is when many families are choosing Christian school. Typically, they do pretty well in the younger years. Kindergarten first is often very full in a Christian school. Are you finding that you have more students, the classes swell more in junior high because people are trying to avoid getting into the influences of maybe larger public school classes?
Sometimes it depends upon the year and what's going on. But a lot of times, like homeschoolers, they put their kids in because they're getting into more difficult material, and it's hard to do the science projects and chemistry and on. So sometimes they'll choose that way. We also have a program called the Homeschoolers Courses, and so they can come in and take just a course off of us, like if they will need chemistry. Some of them do that so they play sports, so that they can have that advantage. So we have quite a few. Like we have a new senior that's coming in this year because she wants to take, she's actually completed all of her homeschooling requirements. She's ready for college, but she's still young. So she's coming in to take college prep English off me because she wants to be an English teacher.
Wow.
And so her mom said, maybe it'd be a good idea that you get in a classroom before you end up into college. And then she's decided to play volleyball for us. So I just saw her last week when I stepped in the gym, and she said, hey, I'm going to take choir too. And then I heard art. Maybe I'll take art too.
Neat.
So,
she's going to have a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the clothing. When you go off to school, the first day of school, that new outfit is important. Your students wear uniforms.
Yes.
And you have a really brilliant way for families to be able to keep the kids looking sharp and have their uniforms and so forth that the families have put together in almost a resale shop. Talk about that.
Yes, they the parents actually take care of sorting them so that when you walk into the room, they're already in the sizes. So when your child grows out of clothes, and you can clean them all up and say, well, they put $3 or $5 on it, a tag, and their name, and they put it in the resale shop. And then, like when I shopped for my son, who graduated 4 years ago, he went K through 12, I just go down and pull out his sizes, and then I would add up all the tags, put my check on it, hand it to the secretary. She gets it to the families that it represents. And so that helps out because they can buy the actual school line, but they are very expensive. They're nice, but they're very expensive. So that helps them out if they want to do that. They don't have to.
Goodness, yes, that's brilliant. Where does the funding come for Massillon Christian? Is this all completely underwritten by a combination of Massillon Baptist and tuition, or are there fundraisers? Tell us a little bit about how you take care of all these wonderful things.
Okay, we keep our tuition. It's always been as low as we possibly can because this is a ministry. We want to reach as many families as we can. So the tuition that they pay actually does not even pay the teachers' salaries, and the teachers don't get paid much because, once again, it's a ministry. And most of us that are teaching, our children go free, so that's one of the reasons that, we're teaching there. So anyway, with that, the rest of the money comes actually from the Massillon Baptist Temple. It is her ministry. And so Massillon Baptist Temple, depending upon the year, pays into the school anywhere from $75,000 to $150,000 to keep her going. We also have a huge walkathon. It's always the last Saturday in September, and the kids get sponsors and walk a 10-mile walk or whatever. Sometimes the kindergartners don't quite make that, but whatever the parents, but they usually get flat mounts because they're so cute. But every kid participates in some form, and we pull in anywhere from 25 to 30,000.
Oh my goodness!
In that walkathon, just with those 80 kids.
Well, I know you want to give a shout out to these amazing teachers who are working for less than they could earn somewhere else because it is a ministry. Talk about the wonderful teachers there.
Well, like I said, they are willing to do anything. Our teachers teach a wide gamut of things, and we do a lot of team teaching. Like, for instance, our 6th grade teacher, she's excellent in math. Her children graduated years ago, math whizzes, and so while she's teaching our junior high math, we have one of our junior high English teachers teaches like the vocabulary and spelling so that she can do that. And we have our 2nd and 3rd grade teacher. She teaches the physical education for our high school and our junior high, while her kids then go over and are be taught by the kindergarten teacher history and Bible, because her kids are napping. And we don't need a certified teacher to watch them nap.
Right.
So we have a teacher aide by the state of Ohio that approves them, that goes in and watches them when they get up and they do their snack. And so everybody works together, and it's neat.
And some pretty wonderful kids. I know there's a story you want to tell.
Yes, we have a young man who his family, they've been in the school for several years now, but financially they couldn't keep up. And so it looked like the oldest one was going to have to leave. And each week he would go down in chapel and he would just pray that God would find some way that he could return. And I figured that's why he was praying. And so I went down and I prayed with him. And we didn't really tell a lot of people other than he asked kids in his class to pray. So I was doing a CPR seminar this late spring, right before school was out. And this mom came up that they said, we want to pay half of his tuition, but we want to do it anonymously. And so they did. And but then it just wasn't, enough.
So that's only half.
Yeah. And so as the summer progressed, the young man told his mom, he said, I'm going to start soccer practice anyway. I'm just going to go believing that God, if God provided half, he's not going to not provide the rest.
Wow. And did he?
So God did. God brought it in. It was fantastic.
That is so awesome.
So the young man said, look, God provided for me. He answered my prayer.
Wow. And yes, he does. Rebecca Hartline, Massillon Christian School. Where can we get more information?
At the website, you can go to Massillon Christian School. You can also do it through Massillon Baptist Temple. And our phone number is 330-833-1039.
Thanks so much for what you do for our community.
Thank you.